Hey fellas, here doing a service on the 124. Thought I'd show you how to do it. It's a pretty straightforward job to do. Um, we'll start with what I do. Others may do it different, but I've done it quite a few times now, being an 85 and doing it every 2 to 3,000 Ks. It's got 25,000 Ks on it now. I think I've serviced it 6 times. Anyway, we'll go from start to end, and I've also got a bit of a PCV issue that I'll show you to at the end. Flip you around. First thing I do is you blow down the area. You want to blow down, clean up all around here, all down around your filter housing. If you haven't got compressed air, brush, rags, whatever. Just give it nice clean, because you don't want any crap dropping into that housing when you take the lid off the oil filter. So the first thing I do is you grab a 27mm socket, extension bar, and undo the cap. Now you'll feel the cap has resistance, and then all of a sudden it'll free itself up and be a lot easier on the thread. Probably turn it another turn and a half, and just leave it at that point. Then go underneath the car and remove the 12mm bolts that are holding on the belly pan. Take the belly pan off, then you have a 14mm spanner that you undo the sump plug with. Now, if you don't know where the sump plug is, have a look in your manual, but it is all pretty self-explanatory. It's an aluminium sump, finned aluminium sump with 14mm, quite a large flange nut bolt on the side. So drop your oil, wait for the oil to drop, put the bolt back in the sump, put the belly pan back on, put the car back on the ground. Then come around, undo your oil filter cap the rest of the way. Now the trick with the oil filter cap is it actually has a little window, and as I said, when you unscrew it, you'll feel the resistance of the O-ring, and then you'll feel it free up. And basically when it frees up, this little window becomes available to allow air to go into the oil filter housing and drain the oil from the housing into the sump. Very simple. If you do it at the start, open that little window, let the oil drain out. When you pull out the housing, pull out the filter lid and the filter, you won't be dumping oil all over the place. So trust me, because I didn't used to do it. I used to just go, yeah, grab it, pull it, and drip oil everywhere. So it's something I learnt while doing the services on them. So very straightforward. 27mm undoes that. 12mm bolts for the pan, 14mm sump plug. 10mm bolts on the overflow bottle, and that's all you need, spanners and tools wise. So while I was here also, I removed the factory PCV valve to give it a test. So it usually goes in here, top of the factory oil air separator. Elbow just goes from here down into the manifold, so there's no other valves in that line whatsoever. It's only the PCV valve that's here. It's a non-return valve, so it's designed to, when it gets pressure behind it, to seal, but when it gets vacuum, to open and allow vacuum from the manifold to draw a vacuum on the oil air separator and pull fumes, etc. into the manifold. So I took it out, got a little jig set up over here, 15 psi on that gauge, double verifying it with 15 psi on that gauge. Now 15 psi is low psi compared to what our cars actually run, but if you see here, I've got this pressed onto a little rubber, it's actually a balloon inflator. Great as a test tool because it's got taper, it's rubber, it seals up against things nicely. Like I've got that just pressed on there pretty tightly. Anyway, if I open the valve, you'll hear it leaking. Now this doesn't put a lot of flow out, it just puts pressure out, okay? But you can see on the gauge, like as I press that, it's dropping down to 5 psi. Not that that number means anything, but it is showing that even with 15 psi behind it, it's leaking. So I'll try and wind it up a little bit. I'll wind it up to say 25, because I believe that's what a lot of the tunes are sort of going up to. Alright, I might have to actually hold it on a bit more here. Alright, you can hear that leak. Now that leak is pretty substantial. So just something to be mindful of. I'm going to look into what I might do at this stage is just run a test of actually blocking it off. See if my car runs better. If not, it might be just one of those things that leaks and it doesn't matter. What I'll do is any information I get from here on, I'll post down in the comment of this video. But thought I'd just run a test, see what's going on, try and sort out this car a little bit, because I am getting a high-end miss. It feels like a boost lost. It can't be injectors, it can't be anything like that, because under heavy loads I don't get the miss. It's only when I'm revving the car out, say in 3rd or 4th gear. This is an auto, but it just feels like it hits some sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say boost cut, but that's what it feels like, or a boost dump, or it feels like a boost leak. It's as simple as that. So I'll keep on having a look, see what I can suss out. But yeah, anyway, hope the oil change video side of things helps, you know, the amateurs out there, or even some of the pros, especially that oil window, opening the oil window is what I'm going to call it. It helps tremendously. It really does. So enjoy your 124s, and I'll talk to you all soon.